Dr. Shikha Pandey, Assistant Professor from Freshman Engineering Department from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. I am here to give a lecture on the environment, its scope, its importance, and its need for public awareness. So, we will start this topic with the definition of environment. First, we should know the definition of the environment. Environment is a word that derived from a French word environment. That means to encircle or surround. Thus, our environment can be defined as the social, cultural, physical condition that surround, affect, and influence the survival, growth, development of people and animals. So, it was clear from this picture, you can see living organisms are there. Living organisms and humans are there. They are the living organisms of this environment on this planet, and they are surrounded by the environmental factors like air, water, soil, materials, and all are interconnected, interdependent with each other. So living organisms and human beings are interconnected and interdependent, and they are all surrounded by the environmental factors. So this is called as environment. So, and by our definition, that the physical condition that surround, these are the physical conditions that surround the living organism and human beings, and they also affect and influence the survival and growth and development of the people, animal, and plants. Those are present on the earth, and these are their environment. So all the living organisms, those are present on the earth, their air, water, soil, material, all are their environment. So, and they are interacting with all these things each and every day. It can Air interacts with water, water interacts with soil, soil interacts with material, and in the form of heat exchange. Human and living organisms interact with air. Living organism interact with soil, living organism interact with water, all are interact with each other for their all interacted with each other for their survival and growth. So this is their environment. So from the as the word suggests, that the environment means to encircle or to surrounding. So we can say that the living organism and human beings are surrounded by environmental factors, and these factors are air, water, and soil and materials. So they are called as environment. So this is their environment. Now come to the next slide. In this slide, we'll discuss about the types of environment. The types of environment are natural environment. First one is the natural environment. The second one is the man-made environment. Natural environment is those parts of the planet which remain untouched and has not been invaded by man, and it operates through their self-regulating mechanism. Like atmosphere, vegetation, all these things present on the earth. These are called as their natural environment. And if any changes in their ecosystem by natural processes, it may be counterbalanced by other components like air, water, soil, etc. that are present in their surrounding. Like we have discussed in the previous slide, that the air, water, and soil, and every organism will interact with air, water, and soil present in their surroundings. So if any changes in the natural environment is there, they will counterbalance by these components like air, water, and soil. And second part is the man-made environment, like anthropogenic environment. Those environment which are created by humans, like human settlement. Human create their village, towns, cities, and transport and communication facilities, besides various other communities. So all these are created by the man. So these are called as man-made environment. And the example of man-made environment are the breeze, road, buildings, and monuments. You can see in the pictures, like first one is for natural environment and second is for man-made environment. Man-made environment is those environment created by man, like the buildings, cities, bridge, all these things. And it can be constructed and it can be reconstructed only by human being. But in natural environment, the environment they will do by their own components like air, water, and soil. But for man-made environment, they will construct by themselves and they will reconstruct by themselves. What they want to do, they will do. That's called as man-made environment. Natural environment, human can't interfere in the natural environment, like atmosphere. If a human can't do anything for the atmosphere, they can't create any imbalance in these things. But for man-made environment, they can if they want to make a building, they will make a building. If they want to reconstruct, they will reconstruct. That is the main concept of this slide. That is the types of environment in which we are living. We are living in natural, sometime in natural environment, sometime in the man-made created environment. That is the main theme of this slide. Now come to the next slide. These are the, in this slide, we will discuss about the components of the environment, like the basic components of the environment, means those components which will complete the environment. The environment has two components. First one is the abiotic component, second one is the biotic component. Abiotic components are all the non-living things which are present on the earth, and biotic components are the living things. Biotic components are the living things which are present on the earth. Living things means all these things that are living around us, like plant, animals, bacteria, fungus. All these are living things. All these are living things. So they will come under abiotic components of the environment. And the medium includes these are the medium for these living things survival are the for their survival they will need the mediums are like air, soil and water and bodies of other organisms. They will, in the first slide from the definition of environment, we have learned those things that environment is the interconnection of all the organism and all the factors present on the earth. So abiotic components like non-living things which are present on the earth will have to interact with each other like this. And the second thing is the biotic components. Biotic components is the living things that we are discussing, like plant, animal, bacteria, and they are interacting with each other. And the first one is, and the second one is abiotic component, which means those who are non-living, and they are present on the earth, like water, soil, light, mineral, air. All these are non-living things, and they have to interact with each other. But the biotic factors need abiotic factor, support of abiotic factor for the survival of their life. See, a plant, animal, fungus, bacteria all need a help of abiotic factors like water, air, soil for their survival. So this will complete an environment. So in the first slide, we will study that all are the environmental factor and all these are interconnected with each other. These are interconnected with each other. So living things and non-living things will completely make an environment. Both will make environment, biotic and abiotic. Biotic and abiotic. They will complete a environment. They will complete an environment. That's why they are called as the components of environment. So, and the main things which present the main examples of biotic factors you can see in the picture is plants, animal, protists, fungus, and bacteria. And on the other side, non-living things, example of non-living things are water, air, soil, light, and minerals. All those which are present on the earth. Okay, let's come to the next slide. Now we will discuss about the segment of the environment. Like in the previous slide, we will discuss about the components of environment. But now in this slide, we will discuss about the segment of environment. Means the layer of environment in which they are divided. So environment has four segments. First is atmosphere, second is biosphere, third is lithosphere, fourth one is hydrosphere. Atmosphere is the blanket of thin sheet blanket of gases surrounding the earth, like it is air. It is nothing but the air. That air we are interacting daily is atmosphere. Okay. And the next segment is the hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is all the water bodies present on the earth are called as hydrosphere, are present in the hydrosphere. Water bodies, all the water bodies which are present on the earth, they are called as, they comes under hydrosphere. Lithosphere is those layer which is various type of soils and rocks present on the earth is called as lithosphere. Lithosphere is the soil. Lithosphere is soil. And fourth one is biosphere. These are all living organisms and their interaction with the environment. These are all living organisms and their interaction with the environment. They are called as biosphere. Means the means we human beings and all animals which are present on the earth. So we will discuss in details with the every layers of the environment in the coming slide. So now start with the atmosphere. Atmosphere is a thin envelope of gases surrounding the earth, highly compressible. Surrounding the earth, highly compressible. And atmosphere, the main function of atmosphere is that it protects life. It protects our life, protects life by absorbing UV radiation, harmful UV radiation, and some solar radiation. That is the thing. And it also warm the Earth's surface through the heat retention activity. That is the main function of the atmosphere. It will warm the Earth's surface, and sometimes it will reduce the temperature extremes between day and night. It will reduce the temperature extremes between day and night. Okay. So now this picture shows the different layers of atmosphere. Atmosphere is again divided into 4 layers. First one is like troposphere. Troposphere, it is the troposphere, and second, it will be divided on the basis of their altitude. So first one is troposphere, then stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. So first one is troposphere. It started from 0 kilometer to up to 10 kilometer, and it is the only layer on the earth where human exist and weather exists. Okay. And in this sphere, troposphere, temperature decreases when with the increasing heights. Per kilometer, 6 degree temperature will decreases. 6 degrees Celsius temperature decreases with increasing height. In the troposphere. And the layer comes after troposphere is the stratosphere. And the main function of the stratosphere is that the famous layer, which is ozone layer that protects us by the UV radiation, is present in this region of the earth, of the atmosphere, that is called as stratosphere. And it starts from 80 kilometer to approximately 50 kilometer. But here the temperature increases with increasing height. Means the temperature goes more if we go on the upper side of the stratosphere. And the ozone layer that protects us from the UV radiations. And in these days we will study, in coming lectures we will study about the ozone layer and the ozone chemistry. That is, the ozone layer is a very important layer for the human beings in these days. It will protect us from many harmful radiation. So this layer is present in the stratosphere. The layer where the stratosphere will end and the mesosphere will start. The point where the stratosphere will end is called as stratus pause. Means the point where it will pause and next layer will start. That is called as mesosphere. Mesosphere is extend up to 80 kilometer, 80 to 85 kilometer. And here temperature decreases slowly with increasing height, and some meteor activity will take place in the mesosphere. And above mesosphere, thermosphere is there. Thin layer of thermosphere is the thin layer that starts with the 80 kilometer to up to 500 kilometer, to up to 500 kilometer. And high energy X-rays and UV rays from the sun are high rays UV radiations from the sun are absorbed in the thermosphere before coming to the troposphere region. On Earth's region, thermosphere will absorb all these harmful UV radiation and high radiation that are coming from the sun. It will absorb in the thermosphere region. So again, mesopause is there before thermosphere. Mesopause is there where this layer will end. A pause is there, so this layer is called as mesopause. Mesopause, like this. Here stratosphere will end, so this layer is called as stratopause. Like this, troposphere will end here. It will called as tropopause. Means there is pause. of this layer, and next layer will start. So in this way we will understand the surface of the atmosphere, the division of atmosphere where we live. First is like troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. And now now come to the hydrosphere. Hydrosphere includes all the water on the earth. All the water which is present on the earth is comes under hydrosphere. Means as the word hydro, it means water. The word suggests hydro means water and sphere means the earth. So those all water which are present on the earth are called as hydrosphere. And the now will come under the division of water. Water is divided. 97% of water present in the ocean. 97% of water is present in the ocean. Okay, and come to the 2% of water. 2% of water is present in the polar cap in the form of glaciers. 2% of water in polar cap, North Pole and South Pole in the form of glaciers. So we can't use this percentage of water. And 97% of water is also is present in the ocean. So they are salty water, sour water. We can't use this water also. And the water present in the form of ice caps on glacier, we also can't use this water. Only 1% of water present as a fresh water, like those water present in river, lake, stream, and groundwater. So these are 1% of water only. So we can use only 1%. Basically, we can use only 1% of water. 1% of water. And our planet has a very unique feature. Only water found on the Earth. That's why our Earth is called as a blue planet. Not a single drop of water found in elsewhere in this planet, because our Earth has a right mass and right chemical composition and right atmosphere for the water to exist in its liquid form. That's why only our planet has a water. That's why they called it as a blue planet also. Hydrosphere consists of all the water resource present on the earth is consist of hydrosphere. That's why this is called as blue planet. And in the 100% of water, only 97% is present. Only 1% of water we can use. Rest of the water is we can't use. Like we can't use 97% of ocean water. We can't use 2% of polar ice cap and glacier waters. Okay, this is the lithosphere. Now we'll discuss about the lithosphere. Means all the solid and outer part of the earth. Lithosphere is mainly the solid part which is present on the earth, like this. And they are mainly basically rocks and minerals. Rocks and minerals which are present in our atmosphere, in our earth, in our environment. So it consists of minerals occurring in earth, rock, and soil. Soil mixture of organic and inorganic matter. And this is like lithosphere is divided in crust, mantle, and core. Crust, mantle, and core. And core. Crust, mantle, and core. Crust is the outer layer. Crust is the outer layer. Mantle is the middle layer, and core is the innermost layer of the earth. Is called as core. So all the living organisms, all the things is present on the crust. Crust is basically the outer layer of the earth where we live. So in this picture, you can show that the oceanic crust is there, continental crust is there, lithosphere, and this is the upper mantle. Core is below mantle. Core is below mantle. That is they have very high temperature. We can't go there. So only mantle and crust is there. Now come to the next slide. Next slide is all about biosphere. In biosphere is the realm of living things found in the atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. And it divided into smaller unit to higher unit. First, it divided first of all on the basis of ecosystem, then on the basis of communities, then on the basis of population. It is that part of earth where life exists. First, they will divide it. We will discuss in the coming lectures about ecosystem, communities, and population. So, biosphere is the mainly like interaction of living organism with their environment. It is like interaction of living organism with their environment, where they will live and they will do their basic processes like breathing, all these things. So they are surrounded by many factors like atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, and the biosphere is the composition of all these layers. Where like because survival of a human being, human or a living organism, everything is necessary. Air, water, soil. Three things are necessary for the survival of living organism. As we have studied from the definition of environment, like environment means living organisms are surrounded by many environmental factors: air, water, soil. So all these spheres, atmosphere, biosphere, hydrosphere, will make a biosphere. Like atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere will make a biosphere. Biosphere is the only for living organism, and they will do their heat exchange processes, all their processes in on the earth. And for this, they need the combination of all these three factors: air, water, and soil. It is important for their survival. All these three layers are very much important for their survival, for their day-to-day activity, for their existence, for everything. So from this slide we can see that how living organism is connected with the environment, with the all segments of environment: water, air, soil, how all these things are connected with each other. So now come to the next slide. Next slide. In this slide, we will discuss about the multidisciplinary nature of environmental studies. Environmental study is multidisciplinary science because it will comprises all the branches like life science, physical science, technology, management, modeling, mathematical science, all these things. From life science, we will study about the biology of organism, biochemistry, microbiology of organisms. From physical science, we will understand about the physical chemistry of the earth chemistry. We will study about the climatology, about the climates, about the geographical condition of the earth. We will study about the oceanography from physical science. We will study the oceanographic values of oceans, how ocean will work and how it is exist. All these things we will study from the physical science. And from technology, we will study civil engineering. Like from civil engineering, you can study the wastewater treatment plant. We will study EIA management system, all these things from civil engineering. And from management and awareness, environmental science will comprises from management like all the law and environmental education, all the law related to the protection of environment, like the law called as Environmental Protection Act. First of all, this act will come. Under this act, they will create water prevention and control act. They will create air prevention and control act, municipal solid waste act. So all these laws and management comes from the for the environment. So we will cover the law and managements also. And the second other thing is the modeling. Modeling, we will study the biostatistics and modeling related with the environmental science, like to the if one will study the rainfall analysis, then they have to go for computer science for MATLAB. They will study MATLAB. Through MATLAB, they will do the calculations of modeling and all these things. So we can say that environmental science is not a single subject. It is a multidisciplinary science that will comprises all the sciences like basic science, technology, management, modeling, all the sciences which comes together and form of one subject called as environmental studies. Now come to the next slide. This is called, in this slide, I will discuss about the importance of environment. Environment is concerned with day-to-day interaction with the surrounding with which human being is closely associated. Like it is the surrounding. It is concerned with our surrounding where we are living and where we are doing our functions, where we are doing our daily function like breathing, and all these things, heat exchange, all these things we are doing is our daily function. and it we are surrounded by many factors. These are called as environment. So we have to concern about the environment, and again it is related with the many branches of science. In the previous slide, as I have also discussed these things, like it is related with the every science, and it is concerned with the importance of wildlife and its protection. If once who will study the environment, then they will understand that why we have to save tiger, why we have to save leopard, why they are getting endangered, why they are getting extinct. So a person will learn, a person will understand why we need to protect the our wildlife and what is their function related with the ecosystem, so a person can protect them. That is the main things of studying this important environment. And environmental science explains the significant role of biodiversity in stabilizing ecological balance. Like this, all organisms are interrelated. All organisms are interrelated, and they are dependent on each other for their function. So if we'll protect all wildlife and all organisms, then only the ecological balance will made. So biodiversity is connected with each other, and then when we will study the science, then only we can understand these things, that how ecological balance can be maintained by studying the conservation of biodiversity. And it also gives information relating to population growth, population growth and population explosion, and its impact on population growth. Like population explosion impact on the population growth, like if a population is increasing more and more, they will demand more environmental conditions, they will demand more space, they will demand more food, they will demand more things for their work. So sustainable development is important for the sustainability of our planet, for the sustainability of our resources. Like these resources we are using now, we have to use in coming future also. For this, we have to understand this subject for the sustainable use of environmental things. Because if population growth is like this, if it is increasing too much day by day, then how can this environment will provide their basic things for everybody? It's not possible. And we have to use all these natural resources in a limited way. We don't have to waste it, or we don't have to overuse it. That is the main point, and that is the main point of this information. And environmental science also give information about water conservation, water science management, and their importance. And this subject will also give information about the conservation of water, like water is our natural resource and why we need to conserve water for our future generation, and their watershed management and their importance of water for a human life. So that is the same thing will come under this point, is also sustainable development. Sustainable development. So once people will study this subject, environmental science, then only they came to understand this point, like that we have to use all the resources which are present on the earth in a limited way, like they should be used by our future generation also. So they have to focus on the sustainability of the use of the natural resources. Now come to the next slide, that is the importance of environmental education. In the last slide I have discussed about the importance of environment, and now in this slide I will discuss about the importance of environmental education. Because in these days government has made mandatory environmental science course in the schools and colleges also. Because if a student will study basic environment, then they will understand the use of eco-friendly technology and or engineer technology, and they will promote it to use the eco-friendly technology, because eco-friendly technology is all based on the sustainable things. Like engineer technology and also sustainable things means they will not harm the environment. With the use of eco-friendly technology, we will not harm the environment. But if we'll go for the engineer technology, some high technology things, they will pollute our environment. And it also educate us to conserve our fast degrading natural resources. And it promotes reduce, reuse, and recycle of the waste material. That is the main important things in this era. Like we have to minimize the waste material. We should use waste material in some different area. Like we should make assets from the waste. Like we will reuse the garbages as a manure, as a fertilizer. So we have to promote these things. So how can we will understand about these things by the studying the environmental education. We should promote all these things. Okay. And now it helps in calculating the attitude, value, and strong feeling of concern for the environment, and the motivation to act in protecting and improving it. Like this, it will help every person how they will protect and improve their environment. And the next point is direct attention toward the problem of population explosion. It will give you attention, and by studying environmental science, you come to know about the problems of environment that will causing harm our environment, like population explosion, pollution of environment, threats to biodiversity, and you will also suggest the methods for solving such problems. Then you have to study the subject is very important. That's why government has made mandatory this course to study on the school level and college level, because environment is for everybody. If you are using it in a sustainable way, then our future generation will also use. If we will exploit these resources, then our future generation will not use. And many pollution is there, and climate change is there, lots of problem is there. And in these days, they are causing climate change is causing the melting of the polar ice cap, and this will cause too much global warming is there. So one should have to study these things to understand the value of environment, to understand how they will protect their environment. And their environment, this environment is for everybody, and you have to do something for your environment. Now, come to the next slide. This is the need for public awareness. This slide is for those person, for the public. How a educated person can aware a common public, a layman, for the importance of environment is a very important to us, because our environment is very important to us, because it is where we live in coexistence with other species. For our existence, other species in existence is also mandatory. And it is not only the duty of government, it is a duty of every citizen to play an active role in the environmental protection and its education. And if one should study the environmental science, then they can educate other person for its protection. And in today's modern world, people are mainly focusing on industrialization and increasing population. And this will exploit our natural resource. And our natural resource is degrading day by day by our anthropogenic activity, by our man-made activity, like industrialization, deforestation is there. So we need to protect this environment. Industrialization, deforestation, all these things will degrading our resources. And if we will degrade our resources, then what we will going to use in the future generation, what the future generation will do. So we have to use our environment, we have to teach us, we have to make our public aware of them aware, like you should use environment in the sustainable way. Like we will also fulfill our need, and our future generation will also fulfill their need. For the public awareness of environment, for their public awareness, in the United Nations, a conference was there on the human and environment, and this conference held at Stockholm from 15 to 16 June in 1972. And they celebrated this 5th June as the environment day. And this environment day is celebrated in our country also. Since 1974, they are very early. The United Nations understand the importance of environment very early in the 1974. And from the 1974, they have made a conference in the Stockholm for the protection of environment, for understanding its future generation need, because sustainability should be there. Because in these days, industrialization and increasing population is exploiting our environment too much. So if they will exploit environment in this way, how the future generation will use. So they will make this conference, and they are doing meeting every year, that is called as conference of party. They will collect there, and they will do the discussion on, and they will provide some provisions and some rules for environment also. For in Due to this United Nations conference, Kyoto Protocol is there. Kyoto Protocol is there. They have made this protocol on climate change, and they will made a protocol on the depletion of ozone layer. We will discuss all these points in the coming lecture. This slide is only for understanding the value of environment, which are related with us, and we have to do by studying its importance and why it is necessary to study the environmental science course. Now, this slide. I will discuss the scope of this environmental science. Environmental science as a subject has a very wide scope. It includes large number of areas and aspects. So, in the coming slide, in the previous slide, shown you that environmental science is a multidisciplinary subject. Multidisciplinary subject. It covers a wide range. It includes large number of area and aspect, and these are like natural resource. One should have to understand the conservation and management of natural resource. One should have to understand the ecology and biodiversity. Ecology of every organism, and biodiversity that is present on the earth, and why we need to protect this biodiversity and ecology. And third point is the environmental pollution and control. Everybody should understand this about this environmental pollution, because this environmental pollution is invading our environment day by day, and its control. If one should study the environmental science, then they can suggest, they can make aware of the public, like you can't do this, and this is the method to protect the environment. And then fourth point is human population and environment. Human population can be saved by studying environmental science. If a person will study environmental science, they will educate people, like human population is the is the control of human population is important for our environment and its sustainable use. And the social issues that are related with the development and environment. Social issues like human resettlement, rehabilitation, and the social issue that is related with the dam, social related issues like those issues affected like deforestation, desertification. These are related with the current development, and these development will create desertification. They will deforestation. So one should have to know idea about all these things. So, by this lecture, we come to know about the what is the scope of studying this subject, environmental science. This is environmental science. The conclusion of today's lecture is the focus on the subject environmental science. Why we need to study this environmental science, and it is importance in the environment, and it is connected with our daily life. That's why this subject is very important, and it is a duty of every citizen to think about the environment and its protection. So the basic conclusion of this lecture is to think about the environment, and the environment is related with everybody, and we have to think about this environment, and we have to be very careful about the environment, because in these days lots of problems is there due to environment. And as a subject, if we talk about environmental study as a subject, it has a very wide scope, and it includes a large number of area and aspects. And these may be summarized as like natural resource. We are studying natural resource by as for their conservation and management, ecology and biodiversity, environment pollution and their control, human population and environment, and the social issue in relation to development and environment. This subject is very important to study in today's days, and it's a need for the public awareness. Environmental science is very much necessary for its public awareness. It is a very important to us. We are co-live in coexistence with other species. It is not only the duty of government, it is also a duty of every citizen. So ever since from the from 1974, we are celebrating 5th June as a World Environment Day to only give the focus of a common man and for the awareness about the environment. That environment is related with everybody. We have to think about this environment and we have to do something to protect this environment, because it is a we have to use this all the resources present in the environment in the form of sustainable manner, like use it and make it available for the coming generation also. That is the main fact of the environment. Sustainable use is a very important thing for the environment. So from today's lecture we come to know about the scope of the environmental science. This environmental science, what is the scope of this environmental science subject, and its importance for the public awareness, why public is important to, and you have to, why public should be important to understand this subject, and you have to teach every person about what is its importance and what is its scope for the environmental science subject. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.